How am I doing? You know, it's a good question.
How am I doing? I'm doing okay.
I'm doing okay.
I am overwhelmed,
a little up and down.
I am surviving, just like most other working moms in this crazy new normal.
I actually don't feel so horrible, I guess.
There are a range of emotions, and sometimes it feels like I'm feeling one at a time, and sometimes I'm just a jumbled mess of a bunch of emotions all at the same time.
You know, I have to say, if you asked me this at the beginning of the week, I would have had a very different answer.
You're listening to The Work-Life Equation, the Bright Horizons podcast for busy working families. Whether you're a working mom, a dad, or you're busy caring for other family members, we've got tips for how to fit jobs and families together and for how to make your work-life equation add up. Hey, it's Lisa. We hope you're hanging in there okay. It's a trying time, uncharted territory, parents forced into working from home, and at the same time, we're taking care of our children who are now home 24/7. And it all hit so suddenly.
There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of unknowns. It was just go with the days and the hours and just do what you can.
To be honest, I'm still getting used to how things are for the time being. Actually, working from home used to be my normal since I freelanced a number of years before taking my current job. The wrinkle is that I never had to contend with having my kids around all day.
But working parents, we're known for ironing out the wrinkles, juggling, adjusting, rebalancing. It's what we do. It's what we've always done. And we're by nature determined.
Determined to try and find some sort of a new routine in this chaos, which is a little hard.
It is. And it has been really hard, maybe surprisingly hard for some. Videos of moms joking about giving up, about not being teachers. They surfaced and went viral in just a few days. Because even just a few days in, and even for the parents who went in with enthusiasm and a can-do positive attitude, it was and continues to be a lot harder and a bigger change than anyone could ever have imagined.
The first couple of days, it was like, wow, this is just kind of, the kids were a little bit excited about it. It was just tons of freedom, and we were a little bit loosey-goosey. And that worked for the first maybe day and a half.
You know, I'm not going to lie. It was tough. I thought we could establish the same routine that my kids experienced at their respective places. You know, morning meetings, activities, work, recess, etc. But I quickly realized that wasn't going to be sustainable, given that we both need to work.
You want to be productive at your work. You want to be a team player and you want to be the best at your job, but you also want to be a good mom and you know your kids need you. So that kind of thing is very challenging and frustrating.
And that was the thing. As the days went on for working parents, it just became apparent that trying to work while trying to take care of your child and trying to give your child some kind of a learning day was going to require compromise. That meant compromising some work productivity and giving that time to your kids who really need it. Or maybe compromising your rigid screen time rules so you can get that work project going. And so we put those positive hats back on and we tackled it the only way many of us know how.
Having to take a step back, you know, a sort of forced pause. So some things that I've attempted trying to balance work and parenting. One thing is counting on my spouse more than I had before. We shifted things around where he has more responsibilities in the early morning and I could get up even earlier and, you know, get a good 3 or 4 hours in before, 9:30 in the morning. It's quiet. I can think. I'm lucky that I'm a morning person and the coffee is usually already brewing by the time I wake up.
What we have realized we need to do is we need to set up some quote unquote office hours within our home since we're now working from home and also having our kids at home. And you could probably hear them in the background.
We talked to our parents to hear about some things they've done, some things they've tried, all kind of trial and error in what's become the new work-life balance challenge.
I feel it's really important to change out of your pajamas and into something else, even if it's yoga pants and a sweatshirt, to signal to your body that you're done with sleep or lounging and ready for your day.
We almost need to have a discussion every night. What does the next day look like? So we're basically just operating on a day-by-day basis. Like, what does tomorrow look like for you? okay, this is what we hope the kids' schedules will be like, and we try to make it work.
Putting a routine in place. My husband and I balance a lot, but he mostly works like really early in the morning without the girls, and so he can concentrate. And then after the girls take a nap, then that's my time to really concentrate and get as much work done without having the girls running around near me.
Something we found just truly in the last 2 days that has been really helpful is at night, my wife has been sitting down and cutting out these little cards with activities that my kids, who are 8 and 5, can do together while I'm on a call.
So the kids' activities, I know for some parents, it's hard. But for many parents, those kinds of creative punts have become the small victories, the simple plans that keep the kids busy while you tend to an important work meeting or a project, or in this case, a phone call.
About 3 minutes, truly has to be perfectly timed. About 3 minutes before the call, my kids will pick a card out of this envelope that I think is appropriately named Callie and Nina's Day of Fun. Friends reference intended for anyone who gets that. And they read it together, and then they go tackle that activity while I take my phone call. It's things like how many keys are on the piano, how many of them are white, how many of them are black, how many in total. There was use Google and find your favorite animal and what they eat, and then draw a picture of them eating that. It's really helped pull my kids away from sitting in front of the TV all the time and helped me from feeling like I'm fighting with them to be quiet on every single one of my calls.
We made categories: think, move, create. And then in each category, there are 10 options about. And so then they can decide when it's, the hour of move time, do they want to go skateboarding or biking or whatever, the choices are. So it gives them some control, but within a broader structure. And the first couple of days, they were really, really, really excited about following it. And I think they just felt better, and it helped their anxiety to have more structure. But then I think that the schedule grew tired.
Again, trial and error. And parents seem pretty willing to forgive themselves for things that didn't quite execute the way they wanted it to. Just like something you do at work. Try something. If it doesn't work, tweak it. If it needs change, refresh it.
So then I had to think about shaking up the schedule a little bit, and also maybe within a structured day, having unstructured time. And that's why I feel like at the end of the day, it was not one extreme or the other, and now we're a little bit in the middle.
And maybe working to their strengths is something that helps with their own frustration with the situation, with their personal situation, with their families, with their jobs. And for some, it's more complicated.
The most frustrating part is the wondering how bad things might get, but feeling like it's not appropriate to express the full depth of it to my 2 kids who are too young to be burdened with all that. My 17-year-old obviously knows a lot more of what's going on, but he'd rather play Fortnite than share his feelings with me. On top of all that, I have a medical condition that requires me to go to the hospital now and then for appointments that are needed yet can't be handled with a video chat, and all that adds to the stress that I feel that I should keep mostly to myself.
Having a medically complex child, which is scary anyway on a day-to-day basis, but there's a whole different level of fear and of shaken normalcy that we're feeling because of that.
It's a lot to process. So we ask parents to just lay it out, get it off their chest. What's been the most frustrating?
To be at home all day, every day with my kids, and I will be truly transparent about that. That has been hard.
I think the most frustrating part of this is, that my younger son in particular can't play with his friends, and he's a really high energy kid.
Obviously, sleep has been very challenging.
Also, I have little children. It's hard for them to fully understand the impact of what's going on. They see my husband and I here in the house working and think that we can stop what we're doing at any moment and do something for them.
The first hours of the day, of course, are a little bit crazy. I have the baby tapping on my laptop or closing it, or I have to take a break because I have to feed her, or I have to put her to take a nap. So those kinds of distractions are very hard.
With anything, right? Anything that we go through, it's like, okay, if I knew that this was going to be a week or a month or 6 months, I could get my head in that mindset. And I think what's been the most frustrating part, probably for lots of people, is just not really having a sense of what we're looking at here in terms of duration.
But through all the stress that working parents are now going through, they're feeling gratitude and even positivity peeking through some of the tiny spaces they have during the day.
I am able to find bright spots in all of this. While having my kids at home all the time has made things more challenging, it's a unique chance to spend time with them that I wouldn't ordinarily have.
That is kind of a beautiful thing. Like, I saw my daughter roll over for the first time.
Because of this, I was able to see my girl's first steps. If it wasn't because we are all here, I would have missed it because she probably would have done them at school.
I'm not spending time in my car.
It's not often that we get to spend so much time together without work and commuting to work and school. So I'm really trying to focus in on that aspect through this whole ordeal.
All the extracurriculars, those have stopped. So we've been able to really enjoy, I think, more time with our kids, spending time doing things with them rather than shuttling them from place to place. And that's actually been kind of enjoyable.
There is something pretty lovely about being at home and being with the family and having so much of the busyness and the distraction taken away.
My hope and my bright spot is the way I see people trying to share ideas and tips and techniques and things that support one another, because the reality is we're all in this together.
I've also been trying to urge my kids to document in whatever way, whether it's journaling, whether it's taking pictures. I keep telling them, these are the stories you are going to be telling your kids and grandkids.
I truly do think that once we are all through this, we are going to see a kinder world. We will definitely be more appreciative of what we have and specifically who we have in our lives.
Of course, I still feel exhausted and I'm still a little overwhelmed. But my positivity is starting to look at this as an adventure that we're all in on together. All of us. The entire world. How many times in our lifetime can we say the entire world is experiencing the same thing?
We hope, if anything, this episode let you know you're not alone. And to help you with your child's day, Bright Horizons has some terrific resources. And you can also always check out our Teach, Play, Love podcast with ways to help your child at home. If you like what you heard today, get more of our podcast by subscribing. While you're downloading, let us know what you thought, or give us a share. Thanks to everyone for being here. We look forward to seeing you next time as we help make the work-life equation add up.